And joining us right now is Joe diGenova, legal analyst and former U.S. attorney to the District of Columbia, an all-around good guy. Joe, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Great to have you back. I want to find out, what was your feeling yesterday? Was it a moment of elation when you heard that Justice Anthony Kennedy was retiring?
Well, yeah, very, very much so, because this gives the president an opportunity to do something historic. It will be done prior to the midterm elections, which means it will bring into play a huge amount of pressure on both sides. It was really a tribute to Justice Kennedy that he paid tribute to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, by giving him the chance unequivocally to name his replacement. Whatever else you may think of Kennedy, he proved yesterday that he's loyal to the court and the Constitution and did not want anybody else other than a Republican picking his successor. And to him, I give a toast of champagne.
No doubt that President Trump has a huge opportunity here, Joe. If you were picking the nominee, who would be your dream choice?
I would pick a woman, because it's going to make things much more difficult for the Democrats. In addition, although all of these folks are pro-life, I think for Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, if the pro-life choice is a woman, I think it will be easier for them to vote for her than if it were a man. And we have to keep all of our people in line, given the fact that our numbers are so low, and given the fact that nobody knows what the hell John McCain can or is going to or will want to do. So I would pick a woman, probably Diane Sykes of Wisconsin.
You know, there's been a tremendous amount of nonsense around the reaction to this decision by Anthony Kennedy to retire. Among those things is that the president is going to pick some crazy person to replace Kennedy, that he's out of control. But the truth is, based on the list that he's already published and the support he's gotten from places like the Federalist Society, this has been a pretty conservative and very well thought out list of people who could potentially be the next justice.
Yeah, let me underscore why that's important. Victoria Tunsing, my wife and law partner, was in charge of a special project involving lawyers and judges during the campaign. She had a program called Save Our Supreme Court. That was designed to make the list of names a seminal issue in the campaign. Donald Trump did something that no presidential nominee has ever done. He told the American people, with a list, he said, from this list, I will choose my Supreme Court nominees. No one had ever done that. That was a pact with the American people. For 33% of American voters, the Supreme Court was the most important issue. You cannot believe that number. 33% of voters said that who was going to be on the Supreme Court was important. The list that exists now with the 25 names is a list of superb judicial candidates. Any reasonable person would recognize that. The problem is the Democrats are not reasonable. They are wacky, nutso, out of control, worried about losing power completely. They are going to act like ignoramuses during the next couple of months as we get toward a confirmation process. In the course of doing that, if they want to make abortion the issue, guess what happens? When you try to turn out your base with abortion, we turn out our base with abortion. It's a net nothing, but they need wildness and craziness. And believe me, they are not above turning to violence to try and affect this outcome, and that will have the exact opposite effect of what they intend.
Well, yeah, that really worried me yesterday. I felt like this announcement worried me more about the propensity for violence than Maxine Waters' deranged comments from over the weekend, because you see the strong reaction from the left. It's almost like they want to duct tape Mitch McConnell to a chair and stop all Senate business entirely.
Oh, they want to waterboard him.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday's reactions by the left, did it worry you? I heard the New Republic pushing for court packing, I mean, everything.
I am worried because all this nonsense about, or could we possibly get into a civil war? We're in a civil war in this country right now. Let me just make that very clear. Underscore. End of sentence. Simple. We are in a cultural and political civil war right now. This is going to be at the center of that. This is volcanic in its implications, because for the next 30 to 45 years, this nominee will cement the philosophical bent of the court. This is no small potatoes, so you can understand the intensity of the maniacal response on the left and among the progressives. But you know, this is what elections are about. This is why Trump is so important historically. He will put at least 2 people on the Supreme Court. And look at where he is. 18 months or thereabouts into office, he will have a chance to put a second justice on the Supreme Court from a list that the American people approved.
I've been amazed by this, and to go on the sort of the reaction from the left. Yes. I think what it's done is it's sort of demonstrated what they actually think of the system and our form of government, because there have been people who want to straight up abolish the court. They see it as a barrier to progress, and that's kind of a weird position to take when the court has been so useful for liberal politics and advancing those politics from time to time.
But remember, classic Democratic and Republican liberalism believed in the Constitution. The progressives are nuts. They don't believe in the Constitution. When the Democrats and the media went along, remember who did this? John Podesta is responsible for the change of the name of the people from liberal to progressive. That was John Podesta's idea, to relabel the Democratic Party so they could do better in elections. Served them very well, hasn't it, since 2010? Bottom line is this. This is no longer a legitimate fight about how you conduct politics. This is war, and they are going to use the nomination to the Supreme Court as a battlefield. And for all of our friends out there who call themselves conservatives or Republicans or anything else, if you don't get involved in this war, shame on you. This is the future of the country, and the progressives know it. Just remember who the progressives are. They're the people who started abortion in this country. Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, they're the ones who eliminated black neighborhoods completely, purposely, along with Woodrow Wilson, to decrease the black population in this country. This is about power for progressives. It has nothing to do with principle. It has nothing to do with this, that, and the other thing. They want to win, and they want to tell you what to do with the rest of your life.
Joe, in light of the first year of the Trump presidency and now an opportunity for a second Supreme Court pick, is it possible anymore to consider a never-Trumper to have a rational position here?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the never-Trumpers are what they are. I mean, and what's fascinating about this is that the never-Trumpers, which includes like 98% of the Bush people, people like Rod Rosenstein, who's a never-Trumper. I mean, people don't know that, but he's a Bush person. He hates Donald Trump. And how the hell the Federalist Society ever recommended him to be Deputy Attorney General, I will never know. But the bottom line is this. The never-Trumpers will always be never-Trumpers because he beat their guy. He beat the little Bush boy. And as my wife likes to say, 2 Bushes was enough.
Yeah, it'd be helpful to care about the goals of the country rather than
they don't.
Party.
Listen, this for the Bush people.
Yeah,
this is personal animus, and how dare you say nasty things about the Bush family? Well, the hell with them.
Joe diGenova, as always, thank you. Good to have your commentary this morning.